The events begin with our protagonist, Kai, who lives in a world ruled by 5 races. The first race is the demons, who possess great magical powers. Then comes the celestial race, which includes half-humans like angels and elves. After that, there is the spirit race, who have unique bodies like ghosts. Then there is the race of legendary beasts, which are fierce, giant creatures like dragons. In this world, wars constantly erupt between these 4 races and humanity. Therefore, Kai strives to prevent another great war from breaking out among the 5 races. Kai works with the Urza Union, who are tasked with monitoring the cemetery where dozens of demons have been sealed. Kai visits this cemetery daily to ensure that everything is in order. He is serious about his work, while his companions, Ashran and Saki, don't care about this task at all. Ashran believes it's impossible for the demons to escape from the seal, as 100 years have passed without any demon escaping. Nevertheless, Kai remains uneasy until he can check for himself, knowing that a demon's escape from the cemetery would be catastrophic. Saki reassures Kai that everything is peaceful and there's no need to worry about the demon seal. However, Kai stays anxious, especially since monitoring the cemetery is his responsibility. Afterward, Kai returns to the headquarters of the Urza Agency, where they train rigorously against very powerful monsters. Although Kai is a low-ranking soldier, he faces a robotic dummy of a legendary beast. Even the system warns him of the dangers of what he's doing, but he doesn't heed the warnings and continues training until the legendary beast almost devours him, if not for Saki disabling the beast's holographic body. Saki tells him to stop being foolish and not to push himself too hard, but he responds that the training would be useless if there's no risk involved. Saki believes that if he had been born during the Great War between the 5 races, his name would have been recorded in history. But Kai believes that he will never reach the power of the legend, Sid, a human who single-handedly defeated the 4 heroes, the hero of the Demon Clan, the Empress of Darkness, Vanessa, the hero of the Celestial Clan, the Celestial Ruler, Raya, the heroine of the Spirit Race, the Spirit Ruler, Kyoko, and the hero of the legendary Beast Tribe, the King of Fangs, Brath. All these powerful heroes were defeated by the legend Sid, alone using his shining sword. Saki thinks that the story of the legend Sid is just a myth since there is no video or pictures of him, but Kai believes in the existence of this powerful person. At that moment, he receives a message from Jean, who wants to meet him secretly the next morning, but the idiots Saki and Ashran read the message with him, so it was no longer a secret. In the story, Ashran is emotionally immature and thinks that Kai is in a relationship with Jean, even to the point where the crazy Saki embarrasses him about it. So Kai told them that he had to run and escape from them. In the morning, he went to meet Jean, the beautiful girl, who was surprised by his appearance because he was wearing a suit outside of work hours. He told her that he had come directly from training. Jean wanted to meet him to go shopping with her since she prefers him over all her friends. A romantic relationship is in the air, and Jean wants to buy him a gift, as she is moving to another city, and is sad because this is the last time she will see him. But Kai managed to change her mood and made her forget about it, so Jean continued shopping, very happy in the last moments she spent with him. When they finished shopping and were on their way back, Kai remembered when he fell into the cemetery and saw with his own eyes the great sword of Sid. No one believed him about what he saw and thought it was just a dream. That's why Kai joined the human Urza battalion to guard the cemetery where the demons were sealed. Then Kai continued walking normally, but suddenly something strange started happening, as Kai was the only person who could see the distortions occurring in the place. When he lifted his head, he was shocked to see a black hole pulling the entire world into it. At that moment, the world's reincarnation was activated. Afterwards, Kai found himself in a ruined world as the only human there. Worse still, a terrifying monster, a demon with immense magical power, appeared, wanting to kill Kai simply because he was human. But Kai managed to miraculously avoid its attack. The demon was ready to attack him with magic again, so Kai immediately jumped towards his weapon. With the modified 1,000 bullets, he was able to nullify the demon's magic. The bullets used were crafted with V magic, but the battle was not over. The demon summoned a magical circle beneath its feet and nearly burned Kai, but Kai escaped thanks to the rigorous training he had undergone. He succeeded in hitting the demon with his weapon quickly, but that didn't work against the demon's tough body. Kai fired a destructive bullet from his weapon, which allowed him to defeat it as the bullet recreated the breath of the legendary beast. Kai was happy with his new strength and his ability to face demons. But suddenly, another demon appeared behind him and said, "Don't rejoice too much, you insignificant human." The demon was fluent in the human language. Kai was not afraid and ready to confront it, but the magic of this demon exceeded Kai's abilities, and Kai bade farewell to life. At the opportune moment, Saki arrived and used a flare bomb on the demon and pulled Kai into the vehicle. He managed to escape from the powerful demon, but the shock came when he discovered that Saki did not know who Kai was, and even Ashran had never heard of the name before. An extraordinary situation was unfolding with our hero Kai, who was puzzled as to how his closest friends did not recognize him. He could not understand what was happening in this world he had been sent to. Ashran explained to him what had happened here. A war known as the Great War of the Five Races had erupted, in which humanity lost, and the cities around the world were seized by the other four races. As a result, humans were fleeing and hiding like rats, living in the sewers of a new city called City of Humans. There was no other solution but to build an underground city to protect people from the brutality of other races. Kai was shocked and couldn't believe that humanity had lost in the Great War of the Five Races. Kai told him that the demons were stronger than them and had a chief leader referred to as the hero Sid, which means Legend Sid, but they did not know who this person was. Kai was shocked because in the world he had lived in, Sid was supposed to be the hero who defeated the other four races. Ashran responded, "Stop talking nonsense. If such a person existed, we wouldn't be living underground." At that moment, the main legion that manages all the resistance teams arrived, and everyone was happy to see the leader overseeing their protection from the other races. The shock for Kai was that the leader everyone loved here was his friend Jean, and the worst part was that she did not recognize him either. Kai shouted at her, saying, "How could you forget when I was shopping with you just a moment ago?" She replied, "It seems you are confusing me with someone else." Kai was stunned and could not understand why everyone did not know him. Even when he tried to approach Jean, her personal guard intervened and stopped him. After that, he went to Ashran's room and tried to review the records, but he always found that the only records missing were his own, and the legend Sid. Kai realized that he was in a different world where humanity had lost in the Great War of the Five Races. But the strange thing about the story was that the graves where the other races were sealed were still present. The next morning, Kai borrowed Ashran's car and headed towards the graveyard. There, he found that the barrier stone had been removed. As he entered through it, he found the great sword before him. Kai then realized that the legends of Sid were true, something he hadn't imagined. To be more certain, he lifted the legendary sword, and a voice instructed him not to abandon it. Suddenly, a beam of light emerged from the sword, and a magical gate opened. Through it, Kai heard a girl's voice asking for help. He was pulled towards the gate, and found himself in a place high in the sky, where he discovered a girl bound and of mixed heritage. She had both an angel's wing and a demon's wing. This girl begged him to free her from these chains. Kai was astonished by her appearance and could not determine her exact heritage, so she told him her name was Rinne, and all she wanted was to be freed from her chains. Kai decided to take the risk and free her, even if it later turned out she was a demon. However, he was surprised to find that sword strikes had no effect on the chains, and even modified bullets were ineffective. He realized that these restraints were not ordinary, but were a magical seal. Kai decided to test the power of the legendary sword on the chains. As soon as the sword touched the blade holder, the ordinary sword transformed into Sid's great sword. With the immense power of this sword, not only did it cut the chains, but it also sliced through the entire pillar with a single strike. The terrifying strength of the legendary sword was revealed. Thus Kai succeeded in freeing the girl Rinne from her restraints. Rinne screamed at the top of her lungs and called out to Vanessa, who had been fighting with her. Her ignorance led Rinne to believe that Kai was a demon sent by Vanessa to kill her. This is the price of rescuing a foolish person. Poor Kai did good, only to be met with malice from Rinne, who attacked him with her powerful magic. As Kai overcame this, Rinne raised her power to its maximum, ready to erase Kai from existence. At that moment, Kai was faced with the prospect of death, but he heard a voice telling him that the blade-bearer could cut through anything. Indeed, as he waved the sword, he sliced through Rinne's terrifying magic as if it were nothing. Rinne was astonished by his power, as it seemed impossible for an ordinary boy like him to absorb her magic. Yet the foolish girl still believed he was from the demon clan, so Kai told her that he was human and not her enemy. Rinne apologized to Kai for her hasty judgment of him. Due to her hatred of demons, she doesn't trust anyone. Kai asked her to which race she belonged, but she refused to tell him and begged him not to ask her about it again. He then asked her about their location, and she responded that she didn't know where they were. She had been fighting Vanessa and suddenly found herself trapped here. This revelation shocked Kai, as the one Rinne had been fighting was the demon hero Vanessa, which meant that Rinne possessed power equal to that of heroes and could annihilate an entire army of demons. Rinne asked Kai how he managed to dispel her magic earlier, and he replied that the credit went to his sword. Before he could finish his sentence, a strange creature appeared behind Rinne and attempted to kill her. Kai took Rinne with him and fled the scene, but she created a magic circle and with it sent her hand toward Rinne, capturing her and beginning to cast a spell to erase Rinne from existence. Kai froze in shock at what he was witnessing, but he mustered the courage to save Rinne and borrowed the power of the great Cid sword. With a single strike, he destroyed the magic and severed the creature's hand. The creature was stunned at the sight of the forbidden sword. Kai then opened a portal with the legendary sword and transported Rinne through it, returning to the entrance of the tomb. Rinne hugged Kai tightly as she was alone, and it was the first time someone had saved her life. Due to her mixed-race heritage, no race accepted her. They all rejected her, and the demons were the harshest toward her, calling her the ugly race. This is why Rinne had engaged in a fierce battle against Vanessa. Kai also felt the same way as Rinne, as he too was alone, and no one remembered him in this world, which had been taken over by the demon clan. Rinne had just learned that the demons had taken control of human cities. She told Kai that before her battle with Vanessa, the humans were close to victory, and the demons were frightened because the hero of humanity had appeared. Kai asked her if she knew Cid, but unfortunately she didn't. Nevertheless, he felt happy because she had lived through the same history that he knew. As for Rinne, she was happy to have met someone as strong and kind as him. After they left the cemetery together, Rinne lost consciousness and collapsed. Kai carried her and decided to take her to the human city. At first, Rinne refused to go to the city because she didn't trust anyone, but Kai promised her that he wouldn't let anyone get close to her, and with that, she agreed to go with him. Although she hid her wings, her childish behavior aroused suspicion and caused a lot of trouble for Kai. She almost acted recklessly and used her magic in the middle of the city, as she didn't even trust the weak humans. Kai was thinking a lot about the great sword of Cid and wanted to try summoning it, but Rinne suddenly interrupted him when she didn't know how to stop the bathwater. This girl made him regret doing good, as she began to see humans as unfair because they bathed in warm water while she had spent her life bathing in cold water from lakes and rivers. Kai remained calm and treated her as if she were a small child. If I were in his place, I would have kicked her out of the city. Kai was now certain that he was living in a world where the results of the Great War of the Five Races had been reversed, and that he was now living in an alternate history. Rinne suggested to him to escape from this history and return to the correct one, but Kai didn't know if that was even possible. Later, Kai was sleeping peacefully, but Rinne suddenly woke him up because she felt strong magic. The demons were launching an invasion on the human city, and with their immense power, they easily broke through the protective barrier. A new predicament befell humanity. Kai couldn't believe that humans had reached such a pitiful state. They were all weak and fleeing from the abominable demon army. Here, Kai's anger reached its peak, and he realized that the only person in this world who could play the role of hero was Cid, so he immediately moved to confront the demons. At the same time, Saki was being chased by a demon, but our hero intervened and eliminated it. Kai ordered the use of water against these creatures to make them lose their ability to fly, turning them into easy targets for grenades. However, on the other side, Ashran screamed in fear as one of the demons was about to freeze him. But Kai did not allow that to happen, becoming an enemy to all the demons present. Rinne intervened with her terrifying power and helped him enthusiastically, burning with excitement to fight by his side. Saki and Ashran were stunned by the insane power Kai possessed, as it was the first time they had encountered a human with such strength. Kai told them that he came from a world where humans had won the Great War of the Five Races, and the power he had was gained from that previous world. However, Saki and Ashran did not believe what he said, as they thought it was impossible for humans to win the Great War. Saki suggested that he meet Jean, and he agreed, going with them to the rebel army's headquarters. When Kai arrived, he recounted the history of the world he came from to Jean and those with her. As usual, no one believed him, thinking he was lying to them. Jean asked about their relationship in the world he was sent from, and he said to her, "You were my childhood friend. You used to talk to me a lot and aspired to become your father's successor." Jean was shocked by his knowledge of this and left. As for our hero, he returned to his room. At that time, Jean's attendant came and took him to meet her, and Kai was surprised to learn that she had previously disguised herself as a male, as she lives as a man. Jean did not believe what he said, but she needed his help, as she was surrounded and facing the threat of demons. Here, Kai suggested that they attack the key element to deter the demons, the demon empress, Vanessa. Jean was shocked by his confidence in defeating that real monster. He told her that the one who would defeat that monster was the wielder of the blade, Shade's great sword. He told her that he and Rinne would fight Vanessa, the Empress of Darkness, alone, and he was ready to sacrifice himself for this world. He added, "Even if I fail, I won't be able to face my comrades there, because I didn't help from here." He asked Jean to distract the rest of the demon forces so he could face Vanessa alone. This plan aimed to overthrow the demons and restore the union of Urza. And here we come to the end of our episode for today. If the video reaches more than 500 likes, the second part will be released soon. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel in appreciation of my efforts.